Hi there. I want to talk about some hard truths. One of the questions that keeps popping up that I like to deal with is this: did Jesus cancel out the law? Tough question in the world, in the Christian world. 99.9% of them are being taught that he did. The law is no more. Kaput. All gone. First, we got to start off by understanding what the law is. This is all about language and culture. And let's start with the language itself. The word in Greek is nomos. Literally means civil law. However, that's not what it is. Nomos is the word they simply applied in their Greek-speaking way when they wrote this. But in Hebrew, throughout the Old Testament, the word is Torah, which means guide or instructions. Take the time to read Leviticus or Deuteronomy. Any of the Old Testament. You will not find any place where God says, follow my laws and you will be saved. That was a foreign concept to them. Okay, very foreign concept to them. But instead what you're going to find is God telling the people that they will live a blessed life if they follow his instructions, and a cursed one if they don't. Now that I've hopefully given you some understanding, let's look at Matthew 5:17-20. It's where one of the most famous lines come from. The first sentence. It's taught throughout Christendom, and it's totally misused to say that Jesus canceled the law. Sadly, pastors do not teach beyond this verse, which reads, verse 17, do not think I've come to abolish the law or the prophets. I've come not to abolish them, but to fulfill them. Now, Jesus completes the teaching. He is the capstone to them. He is the capstone. Okay? He openly states, even in this misused sentence, that he did not come to abolish them. But wait, there's more, and there's lots more. Because in verse 18, Jesus says not one letter or dot will disappear. Not until heaven and earth are gone. Now, that's more of a paraphrase than an actual, quote. I ask, is heaven or earth gone? No, not at all. Guess the law's not gone then, right? But there's more, because in verse 19, it states that anyone who breaks the smallest command or teaches others to do so will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. Seems Jesus wants people not only to follow his commands, but to teach them as well, even the little ones. But again, wait, there's more, because verse 19 goes on. He reverses the flow. Whoever follows the law and teaches others to do so will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. He finishes by telling everyone that they need to be more righteous than the Pharisees. Think about that. More righteous than the Pharisees. Pharisees get a bad rap. We always look at them as bad people. Not all of them were. Worst off, they were highly intelligent, well-educated people. Some of them were very much God-loving people and very righteous. The Bible tells us about a few of them, right? So he's telling us that we have to be better than that. Okay? What it means to be least and greatest in the kingdom of heaven, I haven't a clue at, right? I don't. And we can discuss about that in a whole other time. But there's enough right there in the first verses to say that case is closed. But there's more evidence in all the following verses. In fact, verse 21-38 not only commands people to follow the teachings on murder, adultery, and divorce, and so on, but also strengthens them. Read it for yourself. Now, Hebrew people have always known that salvation is not pinned on works, otherwise known as the law, but rather on faith. Following the Torah is an act of faith, out of faith, driven by faith. And Jesus did not cancel the Torah. He did not cancel the Sabbath or any God-ordained feast. He strengthened them because believers should, through faith, desire to be obedient. Simple as that, right? I mean, we know it's impossible to be perfect, and that's what you're going to hear a lot of people say. Can you find any Jewish person who thinks they're perfect? No, but they're, the strong Jewish believers, in some cases, like when you get to the more observant ones that are like the Hasidic Jews. They're very much, hardcore on all this stuff for sure, and that they may take it to the nth degree, and God isn't that's what He's looking for. That's what He's looking for. He tells the Pharisees at one point that you're putting your man-made traditions over God's commands, right? And that's what a lot of them do. But I would dare say there's a lot of Christians do it as well. So let's think about John 14:15, where Jesus says, "If you love me, keep my commands." 14:21, John 14:21, "Whoever has my commands and keeps them is the one who loves me." John 15:10, "If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love." Does any of that sound like God's instructions are now void? Please ponder this and go have a look at some of these passages for yourself. In fact, I could have included 5 more passages where Jesus talks about that. 2 of those are in Revelations, where he talks about keeping God's commands. So you decide for yourself if you think it's wrong or right to keep God's commands. But remember this. Paul tells you that the law is written on your heart. It's went from being an exterior law written on paper to one that's in your head and in your heart. And that's where Jesus is the capstone of it all, because he brings you to faith, and your faith will bring you to obedience. Well, thank you, and I hope you do look this stuff up.